All right, gentlemen, as we look at the nooks and crannies of this franchise moving forward here, the growing pains of this young defense, how bad or good will it be this year, Rick, for this franchise moving forward with this young crop moving up ahead?
Well, it looks like Martin St. Louis has given the green light for the defense to be jumping into every offensive situation, which is the game. My only concern is, judging from what I've seen, that they don't get a little bit too excited about jumping in maybe at the wrong time and getting into a high risk game of giving up odd man rushes. I think that they have some kids back there that are able to do that, but they have to be intelligent in their choice when to go and when not to go, because they don't want to get into that type of high risk type of play. And the other thing that I would like to see them establish, if possible, which is not always easy, is to get a set of pairings together that really complement each other in chemistry and the way that they can develop as pairings. And we've seen in the past, and I know in coaching, guys like to play with certain guys. I hated to play with Chelios and refused to play with him, but doesn't mean he was obviously a bad player. But I think that the bottom line for a lot of the guys back there in the blue line, if they can set up with a partner that they feel comfortable with, would be a bonus. And not easily done all the time, but I think that would be a bonus in the right direction that would help them develop as a group.
Okay, Rick, I'm sure I'm asking a question here our viewers are going to be asking themselves in their head right now. Why didn't you want to play with Chris Chelios?
Because every time there was a goal scorer, he looked at me like, well, what are you doing? Like, so I just basically said to Lappy, I said, look, don't put me on with him anymore. I'm done. I'm finished with him. So, but that was a mutual agreement, and he might have been right, but I didn't like to get the finger pointed at me every time he got scored against. So I said, put him with Ludwig.
And him and Ludwig could go enjoy a beer after the game.
That's right. All good.
Well, the growing pains were going to be bad on defense before Joel Edmondson got hurt. And who knows how long he's going to be out. Judging by last season, it's his back again. It's going to be a long time. And then Mike Matheson has a lower body injury he suffered at the end of the preseason. I mean, those are the two key guys they were counting on, along with David Savard as veteran presences. So those growing pains are going to be even worse now. The bright thing is, Jake Allen, he's not really a number one goalie in the NHL right now. He was hired as a backup, but he's a perfect guy to be behind these young guys because he's a good person. He's not going to get flustered. He's not going to do what Rick was saying. He's not going to give the defenseman an evil eye. A young defenseman, if he makes a mistake, he's going to give him a pat on the back. And he's a positive guy. I think he's a good guy to have back there with these young guys. And that, as I said, he's not going to get upset. He'll be able to show them little tips that he sees from a goalie's viewpoint that maybe the coaches don't see behind the bench. So that's a positive, I think, for them going forward, is having a guy like Jake Allen sort of as a father figure type for the defense. And the same with David Savard. The players, he's probably going to playing with Caden Gooley. He's going to be like a father figure. He's a really quiet, soft-spoken, big bear of a man. And I think the guys on the team really respect him. And I think he'll be able to teach. He's a guy who made it to the NHL. He's not fast. He's not flashy, but he knows how to play the defensive game in his own zone. And I think he's going to help them a lot. But the growing pains are going to be pretty bad on the blue line.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult year for the veterans' patience levels, I'm sure. Those veteran defensemen, when Edmondson comes back, who knows when with his injury history the last couple of years, but Savard and Chris Weidman, I think especially, is going to have to be a lot more careful with his plays with the puck this year than he was last year. He won't be able to cheat as much offensively with a bunch of rookies around, even if that's, what St. Louis is promoting. He's going to have to play a little bit harder on the defensive zone. So it's going to be tough for those guys, tough on the goalies this year. But I'm interested to see how things go throughout the year, because there is a lot of room for growth here. And I think that's what's more exciting about the defense this year than last year. You start last year and there was just nowhere to go. Jeff Petrie started on the wrong foot, with his family being gone and the attitude issues between him and Ducharme. It was very clear that things weren't working. and there was just really nothing to look at the defense last year. Everything was terrible. This year, there's some potential, and that's at the very least going to hold my interest.
Well, sorry, go ahead,
I'm
Rick.
just going to say, I'm really hopeful that they can stabilize their defensive zone play and, make sure that, everybody's reading and reacting together. And of course, it's always the smartest guys on the team, the defense, that get, the finger pointed at for not getting the job done because you don't trust the forward to come back and do what he's supposed to do. But in all seriousness, I think it's a group defensive zone play. And in the past, I've been really concerned about their inability to contain guys and leaving guys wide open in front of the net. And this is a combination of coaching and direction. And if they can get some real good reads and stability as far as protecting good scoring chances against, it will give them confidence and get them to believe that they have to start back there and being solid. And then I don't worry about them going on the offensive side. But that's going to be a big challenge. It's not going to happen overnight.
Rick, I'm worried about you having severe flashbacks to your first season in Washington, watching Canadiens play this season in their own end.
Yeah, I still have some pains and cuts from playing 45, 50 minutes in our end zone for the game.
Well, the common theme for this team moving forward might be damage limitations when it comes up to giving up those goals. Last year, 4 goals per game. And Stu might have to use that line all throughout the course of the season for his articles, damage limitations, and what could be a force field, hopefully, for this franchise, and try and make this more of a low-scoring game than high-scoring game. Don't forget, check out the newsletter on Hockey Inside Out. Like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and leave us a comment or question. There'll be plenty of those all throughout the course of the season here, and what could be a very positive year or maybe a negative year. So go ahead, do that for us, and we'll get to that all throughout the season this year.